I could see the rainbow that is wrapped around your head, and all the little visions of the things that you have said. The reds and greens and blues and all the colors of your world look good to me. I see beyond the shadows of the stories you have told. I realize the answers are all there for me and you just to hold. So take a chance and let your spirit free. 'Cause I don't wanna be the one to make you run away again. Please don't be afraid. Just let this all begin, 'cause I want to say these words to you. You know it, baby, I know that we can make it through. If I just say these words to you. The last thing that I want is for you to run away, afraid that I might scare you with the words that I might say. And if I'm gonna take this chance, I hope that you are gonna take it too. Run away with me, we'll write the story as we go. It'll be a happy ending and we'll find our final goal, and you will see a better place for you and me. And I don't wanna be the one to make you run away again. Please don't be afraid. Just let this all begin, 'cause I want to say these words to you.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday. It's 6 o'clock. It is the Sunday Storytellers series. How you doing? I'm your host, John Taglieri. Welcome back on a beautiful Sunday night. I have a great guest for you tonight that I'm going to get to in a moment. I want to say I hope you guys had a great holiday last weekend and that you spent some good time with family and, socially acceptable ways. We got a lot of it to talk about this week. Remember, right now we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Roku on the Plymouth Rock TV channel. So make sure you're on one of those every Sunday at 6 o'clock and you'll see the show. If you miss it at Sunday at 6, you can catch it Thursday at 7 on the Plymouth Rock TV channel on Roku. And if you miss it altogether, you can always stream it. It streams all week on Roku, and it's there forever, and it's also on YouTube and Facebook. So you got many ways to see it. Speaking of streaming, in the not-too-distant future, the show is also going to be moving onto Amazon Fire, not Amazon Prime. I mistakenly said that last week. Onto Amazon Fire and also onto Apple TV. So I'm excited about that. I want to thank all the songwriters who have been on the show so far. This is our 8th week, and it's just getting better. And I want to thank you guys because we're 8 weeks in and still growing and feeling really good about everything. And you guys are a huge part of that. Do me a favor right now. Go hit the share button on this on Facebook. Share it out to your friends. And let's get some more people watching right now. And if you're on Facebook, head over to the Storytellers page right after we're done. Click like so you know when we're going on and you can catch up on all our guests. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Let's get to our guest this week. My guest this week, many of you know who she is for the other half of my Brianna tag duo that we've been together for a few years now and played a lot of shows. And I'm sure you've seen her picture all over my Facebook. But outside of covers and outside of the Brianna tag thing, she is a singer-songwriter in her own right. And her name is Breanna Grace, for those of you who don't know, if you just know her by Bree. As an original artist, she's got an EP out called Second Time Around. It's as well as 2 singles, Test Drive and Raised. There was a docu-video about her called Every Song Tells a Story, and it won an Emmy. She has won Female Vocalist of the Year in the Limelight Music Awards. She charted on the radio in New Zealand at the tender age of 16. She's performed at Loretta's Last Call, Laconia Bike Week, and opened for Lady Antebellum and Scotty McCreery. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring in one of my dearest friends, Breanna Grace. Brianna, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. So, tell everybody a little bit more about you than I did. Bring everybody up to speed on who you are.
Okay, so my name is Brianna. I'm a 27-year-old country music artist from Middleborough, Massachusetts. I have spent a lot of time in Nashville as well. I lived there for a little while, but I have been playing guitar and performing since about the age of 9, and I have been writing since probably the age of 12. I have recorded quite a few of my original songs, and I also do cover gigs with John and as the Brianna tag duo. I also have a full band as well, so I do full band shows, hence all the Laconia and Loretta and whatever else gigs. And I'm looking forward to becoming more of my creative self again and really starting to put my original music out there more.
Very cool. As a songwriter who plays a lot of covers, how do you find your way to get back into your writing process?
Honestly, it's hard. When you spend pretty much every night playing out, singing other writers' songs, even though you look up to those writers and you feel those songs emotionally and you love the songs, it can be kind of hard to not get stuck in that realm and tap back into your own creativity. So a good way that I have found to do so is, this is going to sound weird, but when I really want to try to get out of a writing funk, I literally pretty much don't listen to any other music for at least 24 hours.
Okay, kind of like a cleansing.
Yeah, and my brain is almost kind of forced to just come up with its own tunes, and it usually does. Also, just kind of getting out and practicing and playing guitar can really help. I tend to be a little bit more on the side of, I think, of lyrics before the music a lot of the time.
Okay.
But sometimes just sitting down and strumming the guitar and doing different chord progressions and playing around can spark that.
Do you are you one of the writers, the kind of writer who just writes phrases and words and titles and you get back to them later, or do things just tend to just fall out of you when you get into that mode?
I'm definitely a get back to it later. I'm
Okay.
the type where I think only once or twice has a song really just kind of fallen out of me. At least when I'm writing on my own.
Right.
It's a little bit different for a co-write situation, but writing solo, that's only happened a handful of times. Usually I think of the title first, or I think of the hook line first. There's been a couple occasions where I thought of the first verse in its entirety. First verse rather. But most of the time it's the title or the hook or tagline for some reason.
Okay.
And I kind of build the story of the song off of that.
Okay. So we're going to go through some of your originals tonight, which I'm excited about because I get to hear you play your originals sometimes at our cover shows as much as we do a lot of covers. And I love that you throw your originals in. And, you know, for a lot of people who don't get to hear your originals, I'm really excited that we're going to bring the four of these to them tonight. What song are we going to do first?
So the first one is called Bigger Than This Small Town.
Okay. So how did this come about?
This was one of those situations where I thought of the title / hook line first.
Okay.
So I think I was just going through a time in my life where I was in a mode kind of in between high school, college, end of college kind of deal. And I saw everyone else that I had kind of grown up with and gone to school with venturing off into their own lives, really. Some ended up coming back to our hometown. Some had already been settled here and started having their own families here. Others were like living across the country. And I was in my own mode of what am I doing?
Right.
And
Okay.
I had always kind of had obviously this love for my hometown. I'm a very country, back roads, nostalgic, like small rustic vibe girl.
Okay.
Could not take that out of me. It just will never leave. I've never been, the big city kind of person.
Right.
But I always also kind of felt like whether it was 10 miles away from here or 1,000 miles away from here, I felt that in order to get where I wanted to be in life, career-wise, mentally, emotionally, whatever I was looking for or whatever I needed to grow was beyond the borderlines of this town.
Okay.
And nothing against anyone who, grows up in a town and then settles there and has their kids there. And I mean, I ended up buying a house in my hometown.
Yep.
But I've gone other places when it comes to building my career. And I think it's just kind of that feeling of, it's not that you necessarily feel stuck, but you just feel like at some point you have to branch out and do your own thing, and you have to leave where you came from. As much as you love it and you'll always remember what it provided for you, you have to leave in order to get where you are supposed to be in life.
Right. Right. And I get that because I did that. By the way, speaking of your new house, guys, go to YouTube and look Breanna Grace up. She just did a house tour on their first part of their renovation. They bought an old farmhouse, right?
So it was built in 2003. It's actually new.
Oh, it's new.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really new, but it was a foreclosure situation, so it was
Right.
a mess.
Well, she's doing a renovation and she's chronicling it, so hit her on YouTube and you can see the renovation. Okay, so Bigger Than This Small Town. So you're writing the song, and was it hard not to get kind of snarky about it, or was it easy to kind of keep it in a nice way?
That's a good question. So I actually wrote the song with my friend Keith Dozier, and he's an awesome guy. He lives down in Nashville, super talented writer, and he actually kind of said the same thing while we were writing it. And we had a couple different people critique it for us as well at one point, and that was always kind of the question of, do we change the hook line a little bit? Because we didn't want it to necessarily seem too snarky or almost borderline pretentious.
Yeah.
As far as you people who decide to stay in your hometowns.
I'm better than you.
Exactly. And but I always kind of stuck to my guns and said, I think that the audience that this song is supposed to reach, they're just going to understand. And I think with some of the other lines, especially in the chorus, things like that, with some of the other lines that you hear in the song, I hope it's pretty obvious that that's not our intention to sound that way, that it's very much, I appreciate where I came from. I will never forget what it's given me. I will always love coming back here, but I need to leave in order to reach my goals, kind of deal.
Gotcha. All right. Well, this is Breanna Grace and Bigger Than This Small Town.
Hanging out in the Walmart parking lot just ain't the same. Her, Kelly, and Tim's gonna tie the knot. We all knew they would someday. And that mom and pop corner store may have to close its doors. That's a chance you take for these memories. So many wanna stay, but some can't wait to leave. These dirt roads are great, but they don't go where I wanna go, where I wanna be 10 years from now. I'm bigger than this small town. I will always look back and be proud. I was part of that Friday night football crowd, but I'm bigger than this small town. Must have made at least 100 laps around that old town square, sipping Gentleman Jack in the backseat, but that got me nowhere. Sunday morning we would pray, Lord forgive us for Saturday. These dirt roads are great, but they don't go where I wanna go, where I wanna be 10 years from now. I'm bigger than this small town. I will always look back and be proud. I was part of that Friday night football crowd. I'm bigger than this small town. These two roads are great, but they don't go where I wanna go, where I wanna be. These two roads are great, but they don't go where I wanna go, where I wanna be 10 years from now. I'm bigger than this small town. I will always look back and be proud. I was part of that Friday night football crowd. But sometimes you just gotta get out when you're bigger than this small town.
Nice job. Nice job. Very cool. Yeah, I can you could see how that could get,
Yeah, a little convoluted.
yeah, quickly. But you guys did a really great job of keeping it in a very, more of a dreams thing instead of an I'm better than
Oh, you
you
think
thing.
so?
And that's
Thank
really
you.
cool. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
I haven't really played that one live, like at all. I think I played it once actually with you.
Yes.
When we were on WATD with John Shea.
Yep.
But I don't think I've really played it live other than that. Just because I've always been a little bit afraid of how people will perceive that song, but I think
you gotta not do that. Just don't care.
I think I could play it more.
Yeah, don't worry about what people think. that's one thing I've learned along the way is that you got to not worry about what people think, or you'll be trying to worry about making everybody else but you happy.
Right, and the way I see it is the people who are meant to get it are gonna get it.
Exactly, and the people who don't, well,
guess it's not for you. I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, what song is gonna be next?
So the next one is one that I wrote with my friend Johnny Gwynn.
Okay.
And it was kind of a little out of the box in the sense of genre, because he's definitely more, how do I say this? It's weird. He kind of has a mixed genre sound to him. It's very alternative rockish.
Okay.
He also kind of has some classic folky sounds in there as well. He actually lives in Nashville now. He has for quite a few years. And when I had my house down there, we had a writing session one night, and I had this idea in my head just for a concept. And he loved it. And this is kind of one of those songs that just kind of fell into the notebook within an hour.
What's the name of the song?
It's called I'd Be Lying.
I'd Be Lying. I don't think I've heard this one from you.
You maybe did. This might have been one of the other random ones I played during that radio show.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'm not sure.
So this was a quick write then? This was one that you didn't have to agonize too much over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was actually a very quick one.
Okay. Where did the concept come from? Like, obviously you told me a little bit about, his contribution. Like, how did you take his input and run with it?
So I think we were able to both have a certain amount of input because it's a concept that he could also relate to.
Okay.
As far as situations we had both been in life with partners, potential partners, what have you. And I came to him with the concept of something that I was going through in life with a specific person at the time. And it was the idea of there's kind of always that one person that will forever remain a what if to you.
Yeah.
And you're civil with each other, you're fine with each other, you still reconnect from time to time, but things never necessarily panned out between the two of you the way you really thought they would at one point in time.
Okay.
Even if that's fine, even if it was meant to be that way, there's still always that little voice in the back of your head that's like, okay, but what if?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I could sit here and tell you that I'm really happy for you. I'm happy to see you with this other person. I'm happy to see you doing this with your life, that with your life. And while that may be true to a certain extent, I feel like if I actually said it, there'd be a big part of me that's lying about it. Because there's also that part of me that's going, well, what if? Maybe this wasn't how it was supposed to be.
Right.
So that was the idea for that one. And I explained it in that way, and he just kind of looked at me and went, oh, I totally get that.
Okay.
Most people, I think, can get that.
Yeah. And, I think everybody's had that moment too, or lives with that moment.
As much as you want to admit you don't, I mean, everyone has that one person.
I'm not even going to ask who it is for you.
You probably know.
We've probably talked about it at some point,
Yeah. We have.
Okay. So I'd Be Lying. Ladies and gentlemen, Breanna Grace. And what was that?
So I said it's a little bit of a mix-up of our genres. So it's not as country as my other ones.
Okay. Well, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Breanna Grace, I'd Be Lying.
It's been a long time since you were right in front of me, but here we are, two almost lovers at the corner bar, and you're telling me how your dreams came true when you found someone. You popped the question. I know that things between us Yeah, they were bound to change, but in this moment I just don't know what to say. I could tell you that I'm happy and I wish you well, that somewhere inside of me this doesn't hurt like hell, and how your good luck's got me smiling, but I'd be lying. And you're asking me how I've been since we last met. Well, I'm getting through, but I always thought I'd end up with you, and I'm telling you about the same old same, what I always say, can't dive too deep. Our lives went in different directions, but I always thought down the line we'd end up together, so this took me by surprise. I could tell you that I'm happy and I wish you well, that somewhere inside of me this doesn't hurt like hell, and how your good luck's got me smiling, but I'd be And as the conversation comes to an end, I guess I'll never know what could have been. I could tell you that I'm happy and I wish you well, that somewhere inside of me this doesn't hurt like hell, and how your good luck's got me smiling, but I'd be lying. I'd be lying. Oh.
Nice. That's an awesome hook.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be singing that song now for the rest of the night.
That one's one that I can definitely hear some like different type of production to.
Yeah.
Compared to anything else I've ever done. That one, I don't know, that one makes me excited.
No, have you recorded these first two yet?
No, I have not.
No, okay.
But I see a beautiful studio sitting right behind you.
There happens to be a fully functioning recording studio right here.
Yes.
For when we are no longer allowed not to see each
I
other.
was just going to say, maybe when all of this COVID stuff is
Yeah. I mean, it's at your disposal. You know that. I would love to produce your originals. I think we could do some good things together. Based on how well we work together. This if we could survive being in sessions together with the way you are. I'm kidding.
We work together all right. It's
Yes.
fine.
So before we jump into the next song, a couple of the things I mentioned during your intro is that you have tried out for like American Idol and The Voice. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
So, I auditioned for American Idol when I was 16.
Okay.
I think at that point in time, that was the youngest you could be. And I had just turned 16. Long story short, stood in the rain for 3 hours, sat in the rain for 3 hours at Gillette Stadium. You've heard the story so many times. They had us all sitting on one side of the stadium, and then down in the field, they had all these little white tents set up. They would bring us down section by section, row by row, and then split us into groups of 4. You would stand in front of 2 random talent scouts in the tent, and they decided your fate. And what a lot of people don't know is there are so many rounds before you can even think about seeing the judges' faces.
Yeah.
It is not at all like what they portray on television.
Oh, that's the magic of editing.
And it's the same thing for The Voice, where I went to New York City, I was in Manhattan, and it was at the Javits Convention Center right on the Hudson River. This place is huge. Massive building.
Yep, I've been there many
Totally
times.
could fit everybody inside all day long, easily. But first weekend of March, freezing outside, windy next to water. Starting at 6 in the morning, they had us standing outside for about 3 hours. So just in a line, wrapped around the building. Made our way in, went into one of the big conference function rooms. Again, sectioned us off into like groups of 9. And then we just went down, when I say it was a hallway of doors, I mean, ever seen that scene in the Titanic?
Yeah.
Where it's like the never ending hallway of doors?
Yep.
That's what this was. And you would go into these rooms in your groups of 9 and sit in front of one talent scout and go throughout the room, and everyone would stand in the middle of the room and sing and whatnot. And the crazy thing is it's such a game of chance, because literally the person in one tent or the person in one room could hate you and think you're awful, and then one room over they could think you're the best singer on the planet.
Right.
It's so subjective.
Right.
And then they could also be told by producers, oh, you know, we have enough country acts. Try and find more jazz or like rock people.
Or we just took in 3 brunettes, get me a blonde.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. And it's like they almost kind of put you into like a survivor mode situation where I just stood out in the freezing cold for 3 hours. How's my voice sound?
I always wondered about that, because you go in there cold. And I don't mean just cold from sitting outside. I mean, like,
your voice is raw.
Yeah, you don't get to take care of yourself like a singer should take care of yourself before those gigs.
It would be like an athlete who's used to playing, you know, rugby or soccer or something that's more of a warmer weather outdoor sport. It would be like sticking them in like a refrigerator or freezer for an hour with all their muscles kind of tensing up and seizing up, and then going, all right, go on the field and play.
Yeah.
How do you think that would work out?
Not very well.
So it's such a game of chance. And the older I got, I think I was 19 when I auditioned for The Voice, and the older I got, the more I realized that would it be cool if The Voice found me and was like, hey, come straight to Hollywood? I'd be like, yeah, sure. TV time. Cool. Thanks. But
yeah,
it's way more intricate than people think it is. It's way more of a game of chance than people think it is.
Yeah.
It's way more cutthroat than people think it is, and they own you.
That's why I never did it. I had open door invitations for both shows.
Yeah.
My publicist could have walked me right in.
The further you get into the show, the more and the longer they own you.
Yep, which is why I never did it, because by the time they started really gaining traction, I had too many records out, and they would have taken them from me. So, you know, I never did them.
So I think I almost as much as it was kind of a bummer at those young ages to, you know, to have that kind of rejection staring me right in the face,
mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for it in the long run.
Yeah.
Because I've realized that that's not the route I would want to take.
Right.
Anyway. So, if anything, it just gave me more sense to just run my own business instead of trying to rely on.
Yep. And I get that completely. So, mm-hmm. Okay, what's the next song that we're going to talk about?
So the next song's one you definitely know.
Oh?
The next one is another co-write that I did. It was actually with my friend Lori, and then another woman we know through a songwriting group, Jan Edwards. Again, it was down in Nashville at my house at the time, and we came up with this concept, and we had gotten the hook down. We had this was actually a 2-night process for this song, so this wasn't one of the just dump and go
right
situations. And we came up with the chorus and the hook line, and we really liked it. And usually it's the dreaded second verse that gets you. Usually you write the first verse pretty easily, and then you go, oh crap, where do I go from here?
Right.
And it's the second verse that gets you. But with this song, it was actually the first verse that was stumping us. And I had the first verse completely written, melody and all, for almost a year. And it kind of just popped. I had all my notebooks out in front. I'm one of those people that I write in notebooks. I don't usually write on my laptop. I still like old-fashioned handwriting things when I write.
You know what's funny is so do I most of the time when I write, because it's just a better connection.
Now, and they come to writing sessions with their laptop and they're da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like, notebook and pen.
Yeah. No, I'd rather use a pen too. I think I connect better with the nature of the song physically writing it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'll go back and put it in a Word document and save it after the fact.
Yeah.
You know, so I have a digital copy, and God forbid I lose my notebook or whatever. But when I physically do the act of writing the song, I usually just do paper and pen.
Right.
But anyway, so I had all my notebooks there, and I was kind of sifting through them, and I remembered this one verse that I had written that I really liked. Don't know why, but I really liked it. Didn't totally know what to do with it. And it kind of clicked in my head and went, oh, that would fit perfectly with this concept. So I told them about it, and they were like, oh my goodness, yes, find it, play it for us. And it was like, as soon as I played it, the rest of the song just completely fell into place.
So this was just a verse, though?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is one of those weird times where I had just a verse written. I had the lyrics and the melody for it, but I had yet to put it with anything. So, and it just somehow ended up fitting in absolutely perfectly and just making this song everything we wanted it to be. And after we incorporated that verse, the rest of the song was finished probably in about 20 minutes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it... Do you find it hard sometimes, like when you get stumped, do you push through those stump moments where you're like sitting there with pen and paper in hand and you're onto something, but you just go and the muse just shuts off? Do you find yourself the person who continues to push for it, or just walk away, let it go, and come back?
Honestly, no. I've never been the one that wants to push through it. My automatic natural response is to say it's not ready yet.
Okay.
And I think that there's a lot of weight, that holds a lot of weight in my mind. I'm one of those people that more so goes with my gut, and I'll know when a song is done when I feel it's done.
Right.
And I'm not going to force it, because if I try to force it, I'm not putting out my best work.
Okay.
And that's just the way I see it.
Okay. No, I get that. I've done both ways, but I'm always curious to see how other writers handle that when they hit that brick. But I've said this to a bunch of the writers on the show so far, is that a lot of times I think that as much as we consider ourselves writers, we're more conduits. It's something's out there, and you get chosen at a moment in time to let it come through you. And sometimes that door slams shut before we get that whole thought out. Sometimes it goes blip, and there it is. Sometimes it's a 3-hour thought. But I think a lot of times the muse just...
That took me a couple days. I've had some songs that took me a year. I've had some songs that took me 20 minutes. It just depends on the situation. Depends on what kind of mode I'm in, emotionally, how I'm feeling, mentally, how tired I am, or how I'm feeling. There's so many variables that can come to play with these types of things. But I've always been the type where if I'm really in the zone and I'm really in that mood and I'm really determined, I might, sit there for an hour with it and really try. But if I feel like I'm coming to the point where I'm now trying to force it, I stop and I walk away.
So you just made an interesting point that I want to kind of go into a little bit. Do you have a process when you know you're going into a songwriting session? Like, okay, I'm writing tomorrow at 12. That means I have to be in bed at this hour, eat this for breakfast. Do you have like a game plan of I need to get my rest, I need to be not hungry and cranky, I need my coffee? Is there a process like that before you get to your writing process?
Not at all.
No?
I mean, I'll prepare my stuff. Most of the time, my co-writer and I will kind of chat a little bit beforehand and maybe talk about some concepts that we had both been throwing around, and if there were one or two that really kind of spoke to the both of us in that moment, we would focus more on those and say, okay, maybe let's brainstorm, and then come there with some stuff for both of these concepts and then see which one we roll with the most.
Okay.
And then sometimes we do that and then we get there and we think of something brand new and those both go out the window and who knows.
Right.
It really just depends on the day, depends on who I'm co-writing with, how we're feeling that day. It really, there's so many variables, like I said. And
Cool.
But no, I think I've always been the type of person that just enjoys the natural process of it.
Okay.
I tend to write from my own experiences and from things that I see the world going through or my friends and family going through. And I love that rawness of it. And I think if I sat there and thought of it too much as like, okay, gotta get ready for work in the morning, like gotta make sure I'm in bed by a certain time and I want to make sure I eat my fiber, like I just it wouldn't have the same.
Believe it or not, I know people who are like that though. They're like, okay, I've got to get X amount of sleep and I need my coffee. Yeah.
Stimulation for me, and I think I would hit the point where I'd be like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want that.
I had a writer who's a good friend of mine down in Nashville, Joy Stiles, and we used to get into our writing sessions and both pull out our notebooks and we just used to throw one word at each other, like scene. No, she'd throw something at me. No, timer.
I've done that.
No,
We
throw one word
throw
at me.
title ideas at each other.
And just like Apple, we would just throw words back and forth until one of us went, "What's that?" And that's boom. And that was the path.
Yeah, so myself and Lauren Weintraub, by the way, shameless plug for like basically my little sister of the music industry here. If you don't know who Lauren Weintraub is, go find her now. Anyway, so she, like, her and I have written together, and one of the songs that we wrote is called Selfish, and it's funny because we actually both kind of had a similar concept that we had been mulling over on our own.
Okay.
And it was pretty much the exact same thing, and that turned into that song. But we came to our writing session with just a list of titles, each of us. And we sat there and went, this, torn, this, lying, town, like whatever. And then I said selfish, and she went, no. And I was like, wait, no, like that's, you want to call the song No? Or like, is that your next suggestion? Or like, are you surprised that I said selfish? And she actually had like that exact same word.
Oh, nice.
Written down.
Well,
so
that's that
well,
muse. That's the muse going, here, guys.
Yeah. So we were like, well, that's that. And we wrote Selfish.
What's the song you're about to play? I don't think we got the title yet.
The song I'm about to play is called Denial.
Okay. So let's get to that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Breanna Grace and Denial.
You're dangerous for
hard rock to AOR, heavy metal, 20th Century Music is your favorite new reissue company. With releases from major label artists such as Lion, Bad Habit, and Cold Sweat, to obscure acts like Yarrow, Wicked Witch, and Winter Cat, we've got you covered. Visit us at 20th-century-music.com for your favorite music now.
Nice. I love playing that song with you when we play it at shows too.
It's weird because it sounds so different when I just play it on my own now, because I'm so used to hearing you with like the little arpeggios and the licks and stuff in the background, and I'm like,
Yep.
wait, where is it? I play it by myself now.
See, that's why, but that's been good because we've woodshedded that song live enough that when we finally get in here with it, I think we're going to put something together that's going to be solid.
Oh yeah, that should be the first one we do probably, because we can fly through it.
Yeah.
More than the others.
Okay, so we got one left. Test drive. So, tell us about test drive.
So, I'll put this down now. But, so Test Drive is kind of an ode to, let me think. It's kind of an ode to the exciting start of a relationship. And it's also just an ode to my gearheadedness and love for cars.
Okay.
In reality. I actually have quite a few songs where I make car references. Like I have a song called Drive Me To. It's just a thing that I do without even realizing it. I make a lot of like euphemisms and references. And
See, and you don't look like a gearhead.
I know, but I grew up with a gearhead and mechanic as a father, and I was the firstborn, and he didn't have sons. So
you became a gearhead. Yep.
Caught the bug, yeah.
Nice.
So, this one, I thought it was kind of I know some writers and some people really frown on the whole idea of, a play on words. I personally like them. Obviously depending on the concept, but
Right.
I think a lot of times like a play on words is really clever.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's really trendy. I don't think it's outdated at all, like some people think it is.
No, I don't think so either.
But that's just me.
I think if you're clever enough, it's not outdated. I think if you're
exactly.
if you're
it has to be done with like a certain finesse.
Yeah, if it's trite, then it's if it's trite and it's like just like, oh dude. But
yeah,
if you're smart about it, nothing's ever outdated.
Right. And that's kind of what I hope Test Drive kind of always will remain as. Like it'll always remain in that realm versus like, ooh, cringy.
Okay.
But it's mainly just I guess one of the only positive upbeat love songs I have.
Cool.
Where
Now you did record this one because we're gonna watch the video on
did.
this one instead of you playing it live. So when you went into the studio on this one, how did you take that vibe in there and make sure that it translated?
So I actually worked with my friend Jason on this one in his studio down in Nashville, and it was interesting. It was unlike any recording I had done before.
Okay.
Because he did it in the more modern style, as far as he played all the instruments, and it wasn't even necessarily a real drum set. It was, all of his just electronic equipment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was way different than anything I'd ever done before, because he actually sent me versions of the track just to listen to before I even stepped into the studio. All my past recordings, I was there in studio.
Right.
For the actual music recording. But with this one, I wasn't, and I kind of had to do everything just digitally, and we would go back and forth. I would give him critiques on the sound of this or the dynamic of that, and it was a really interesting process. But it was actually really fun, and then it was kind of exciting knowing that first time I'm stepping into the studio for this song, track's ready to go, and I can just sing. And I actually recorded.
Right.
I recorded it on my birthday. I think in 2016.
Well, that's good vibes right there.
2015, 2016.
Okay.
2016, I think. And I recorded it on my birthday.
Cool.
So it was fun. I think I was only in there for 2 hours.
That's awesome.
Usually,
when you're going for a session, it's an all-day thing. So, all right, let's get to it. So this is Test Drive by Breanna Grace, and we're actually going to watch the music video. So here we go.
Looking in the window of a shiny red Maserati, wondering should I take it for a spin. That's what it feels like when I think about you and me, boy. Are we gonna be more than friends? Let's take it for a test drive. Maybe see what it feels like to reach over and take my hand. Baby, we don't have to move too fast, but let's start by turning the key. Wrap your big strong arms around me, make our way into a long slow kiss. Yeah, I think we're both wanting to try to take it for a test drive. Whoa, whoa, take it for a test drive, baby. Whoa, whoa. Full moon, full tank, and an open highway. We can go wherever we wanna go. I wanna hear the beat of your heart and the purr of that engine when these tires hit the road. Let's take it for a test drive. Maybe see what it feels like to reach over and take my hand. Baby, we don't have to move too fast, but let's start by turning the key. Wrap your big strong arms around me, make our way into a long slow kiss. Yeah, I think we're both wanting to try to take it for a test drive. Whoa, whoa, take it for a test drive, baby. Whoa, whoa. We can take it fast, but we can take it slow. Baby, how far back do these seats go? Take it for a test drive. Maybe see what it feels like to reach over and take my hand. Baby, we don't have to move too fast, but let's start by turning the key. Wrap your big strong arms around me, make our way into a long slow kiss. Yeah, I think we're both wanting to try to take it for a test drive. Whoa, whoa, take it for a test drive, baby. Whoa, whoa, take it for a test drive. Whoa, whoa, take it for a test drive, test drive. Whoa, whoa.
That's awesome. Great video too.
Thanks.
That poor salesman got the daylights beat out of him throughout that video, huh?
So let me tell you, watching this video, I don't watch it often. It's pretty much just if someone else wants to watch it and I'm there. But watching this video, it honestly puts so many things into perspective for me. And it brings back so much joy, like as far as the memories.
Yeah.
I mean, that video was literally like the biggest labor of love. And when I say that, I not only mean that in the sense of the amount of back-end work that myself and Justin Mayotte, director, producer, film, he did everything for it.
Right.
It's not even just the work that we put into it was the labor of love, but literally like all the people that love me in my life, like coming together and putting themselves out there in a way they normally wouldn't, so I could have people in my video.
That's awesome. Those were all friends of yours?
Every
Obviously.
single person in that video is actually like a friend of mine in real life. So the salesman was my friend Cam. He actually, if you go way back in my YouTube, I did like a homemade spoof of Blank Space by Taylor Swift. Literally filmed it 2 nights in a row at like 2 a.m.
Yes, I've seen it.
Cam in
Okay.
the video with me. So he's had 2 appearances. And then the guy in the truck with me is my friend Mark, who I call my brother, because I've known him since I was 5 and whatnot. The younger looking kid that was like the nerd with the glasses in the book, that's actually Cam's younger brother. And then the guy in the Mustang at the end of the video is actually one of my boyfriend's best friends.
Oh, okay.
My boyfriend was originally going to be in the video, and then he ended up having to work that day. And he couldn't find any coverage. So like 2 days before, we texted his friend Jake, and he's like, "Hey man, can you do me a big favor?
Can you go be my girlfriend's boyfriend?"
Yeah, and I ended up working with Jake. We ended up working for the same company, so it got around like the whole company. All these middle-aged women were like, "Oh my goodness, Jake!"
That's awesome.
But it just, I mean, the guy who played the rude businessman in the restaurant with me, that's one of my good friends, Nate, that I've known since high school. Like, it puts a lot into perspective for me as far as the team and the like genuine literal support that I've always had around me.
It's so important.
Oh my God, it's incredibly important. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget when you have goals and aspirations and the people who you are trying to connect with, who you hope can help you grow those goals and aspirations, sometimes reject you or turn you down or double cross you or whatever.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of hard to remember all the support you actually do have. And like anytime I need to remember it, I just have to watch that video. I mean, my cousin did all of our hair and makeup. The bald guy with the beard that was in the SUV with me, that was Justin.
Okay.
He's the director of the video.
Oh, nice.
He jumped in. And
Always good when they can get in there.
Yeah. So
Well-
I will forever love that video, no matter how cringy it becomes over
It's
time.
not cringy. It's a cool video.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for taking the time to do this with me. I know we see each other a lot and we work a lot together, but this is a very different thing, and I want to say thank you for taking the time to tell your story on the show. It means a lot to me. So everybody, that's Breanna Grace. Her information has been right down here, scrolling the whole time. Please make sure you go to BreannaGraceOfficial.com. Find her on every platform. It's Breanna Grace Official. I want to say, please come back next week. We have Kings of Dust on, and the guys in that band have been in a lot of other big bands. 6 o'clock, I'll be back. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks to Breanna Grace for taking the time to do this. And by the way, hey, here's our Facebook.
make it. I can't believe I'm going through this again. Not again. I took a chance, I took a leap. I guess I got myself in too deep. I don't regret it, but I wish it didn't have to end. No. Now these tracks are taking me home. Take me where I wanna go. Take me where things are. Where they are easy. And I need something easy. Something where I don't cry every night about the mess that is my life. I swear I'll clean my act someday, but today, take me away, yeah. 'Cause I need something easy. I sit and watch the world flashing by in a New York minute. I wish it all didn't have to go so fast, so damn fast. I close my eyes and breathe real deep. Maybe try to catch a little sleep. And dream a bit about my future and not the past. Yeah, and I know I'll make my mistakes, but that's the chance that I'll take. 'Cause I know it can be. It can be easy. And I need something easy. Something where I don't cry every night about the mess that is my life. And I swear I'll clean my act someday. Yeah, but today